Welcome everybody to our Thursday analysis stream. Game analysis with the subscribers and noobs on lichess.org. What's up, everybody? Thursday's a long day. Sorry, we're a little late to the start time here. Busy. What's up? Astrobate, just you? I had a whole lot of submissions for the stream. More than usual. Thomas Trainson. Astrobate. We got a game from Ripunj. Schumacher should be in there in the middle. Mule Skinner. Schumacher. We're closing in on 300 games. Antonio. Ooh, look at that. 17 CPL from the Schumacher. Alright. Let me put that in the proper place. Schumacher should have been, like, third. We've got Thomas Trainson, Astrobate, Schumacher, Jim, Miralles, Yabades, Arsenal fan. I think after Excel Poker, there's Mule Skinner. Had a new chapter. Mule is in there. I think before Yabades. You reached 2350. We don't talk about that. The evil chess control. Time control. Congratulations. Never mind. Alright. Oh, Blitz? No. Sorry. Rapid. 2350 Rapid would be good. Let me know when you get to 2350 Rapid. Antonio, can you, how long can you stay? Oh, you have to leave immediately. How much time do you have? By the way, that's your game against Excel Poker. Do you want me to do your game first? I know you mentioned it in the message. That you might not be able to be here. But it's okay for me either way to do your game first or leave it. Right now we have well, the problem is you didn't submit the game in the right. Ripunj didn't submit his game in the right format, of course. So I'll put you in there, like, somewhere in the middle. Those who don't submit by the right format. I got a 4 CPL. Nice. Nice job, Arsenal. 4 CPL. NCL. Yeah, you can change. You can transition. But Morales had to go, I guess, so that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, absolutely. Just send me the message on, send me the game, Arsenal, while we wait for my brain to warm up. My brain is like it's like a 70s car engine. We have to warm it up. I've got to get this straight now. Okay, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thomas is here. Astrobate, Schumacher, Jim, Morales, Ripunj, Mule Skinner, Yabades, Arsenal fan. Arsenal's last. Yeah. Where's Arsenal's message? Why is it not in my message list? It's weird. You sent me a message, right? Or you just messaged me the game in a different format. Put mine in last or second to last. Okay. Done. I felt like Arsenal was one of the last to submit it. Yeah. But updated game. 17:15. You submitted your game at 5:15. Yeah, it was the last one. All right. We will change. Oh. I'll have to copy PGN. Can I copy the PGN? What the hell am I doing? What the bleep am I doing here? Get PGN? Get? Alright, I'll get the PGN. Jesus. It's like 600 moves. Copy. Tools. Analysis board. Paste. Acerbate. Now we can copy it. Alright, that's a closed position. Alright, so that's Arsenal's latest edition. That's chapter 10. Delete the other Arsenal. Delete chapter. And that's Ars. Only Ars. Only Ars fans. Alright, so we got Acerbate, Thomas Transon, Acerbate, Schumacher, Jim, Repunj, Mule Skinner, Ibadas, Excel Hooker, and only Ars fans. Acerbate just gifted a tier 1 sub to Streamfarer. Alright, does anyone want to pay extra to have their game, like, you know, bribed earlier? What do I feel like? I feel like an airline or something. We can charge extra to have your hand baggage, an extra hand baggage. Charging extra. Shall we start with Thomas Transon? Shall we? He's here. We are going to see this game he played against me. Thank you, Acerbate, for gifting a sub. Oh, man. Alright, I might need some alcohol at some point, but right now I'm dry. Sparkle Horse versus Thomas Transon. We should raid Thomas after. If he's streaming. You have one game to analyze tonight from over the board last night. You got none left either. Ferroni's good. Okay, so we're gonna see this game from Transon's perspective. The Dutch takes a day to learn, but a lifetime to master. So I played here c4. I actually like g3. That was my tournament prep. But we'll end up in the same place. I know you don't play the Leningrad, so my preparation against the Leningrad is a little bit better. Honestly, against this Iljan Janevsky variation, I probably have the least prep. Against the Stonewall and Leningrad, my preparation is better. So I decided to try something I don't usually do here. You know, by the way, like I don't understand the significance of your move order. Is there some secret reason why you're playing Bishop E7 before Knight F6? Smyslov used this move order against Karpov in 1993. Is there some secret plan to play like Bishop F6? Here. I don't really think like white's threatening bishop g5 or anything. Just curious. You're just wary of bishop g5. Frankly, I don't think there's anything to be wary of there. Bishop g2, knight f6, knight f3. Yeah, what else can I do? You can play... Well, white can play knight c3. Knight c3, castles, and, there's nothing special. Maybe that's a line, like knight c3, castles e4. That's not good. I think somebody played that against me. White can do knight h3. I've never really looked at this kind of thing. Interesting. I didn't know you could do this against this flexible Dutch. But the early 94? Well, yeah. Spectacular Camel subscribed for 42 months. Just 42 months? Is that all? I'm trying to suppress a sneeze. I need to vacuum and dust my room, my office here. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's not so important. Castle, d6, and then yeah. So normally I've always played knight c3. Universally, but I mean now having played it against you once or twice and other people, I just decided to play this even though I don't really know the theory. b3 is very solid, but like less ambitious. As white doesn't, with knight c3, white is trying to fight for control of e4, whereas with b3, white is playing like less ambitiously. I think like just routinely developing with a solid position, fianchettoing on b2 in most cases, but not. It's just not as aggressive a setup. I know that it's very, very common, though. So, somewhere in my travels a long time ago, there was one player who was talking about, like, the fact that somehow a5 wasn't good or something, but I don't know. B3 is a long-winded is B3 a long-winded approach to push D5 and undermine structure that way? I honestly don't really think so, because if you ever push D5, I mean, black has the option to push past with like E5. I'm not sure, that D5 will ever really work. But maybe there's some instances where it does. I feel like, E4 is the only guaranteed way to open the position. So looking at the database here, Thomas played the move that has the best score. It's very clear. Queen e8 has a better score than knight e4. It also feels more correct, in the sense you're not moving the same piece twice. I mean, it's a queen move, but it's a developing move of sorts, whereas knight e4 isn't. I like queen e8 better. Bishop e2, and now a5, and going by stats, I don't know how significant those stats are. Mr. Coffee is a statistician. He'd probably agree, like, we're looking at a sample size with 50 or less. It's probably pretty insignificant, but they are long games played by very strong players. So, by master players, I guess it's not like, totally random. I would trust the statistics here slightly. Interesting, this has been played a couple of times. That's a problem, though. Like, then d5 for reals, can open the position. Yeah, queen e8 is totally standard. This is a defensive move sometimes later. though you don't really need it without the knight coming to b5. The main idea is to transfer here to g6 or h5. The most common move seems to be queen h5. And not a lot of big names here with black. Glek, Todorcevich, Naumkin, Oscar Pano, Naumkin, Surgeon Sale. What about with a5? Why are there no games by Simon Williams? a5? Polulyakov, Okhotnik, David Rubens, 1976. Jesus. Trappel. Julian Song, 2013. Lichdinsky. Raichigov. Why are we calling this the Simon Williams variation if Simon Williams doesn't actually have any games here? That's weird. What about 94? I mean, Williams must be playing something different then. He must be playing something different. Maybe he doesn't play Queen E8. What about 94? I would imagine though, Simon, there's one game. I would imagine honestly that Simon, since he started doing YouTube and stuff in the last 10 years, his over the board chess is. There's a couple Simon Williams games with 94. I imagine he's not playing as much over the board. Alright, so b3, queen e8, bishop b2, a5 looks normal. And now I played a3. I wasn't happy to play a3 here. But I don't know the theory. I've never played this ever with white. And I felt weird about playing knight c3 because it would be in the way of my bishop. But that transposes to a different variation, it looks like. This actually has really good score for white. Wow. That has a huge score for white. Knight c3. Interesting. Right. Well, if you don't play knight e4 now, you might not get a chance to. But it is an uncommon move. There must be a problem, Tomas. Do we have a problem here? Not that much different than the game, really. Doesn't look that bad. Yeah, similar to the game. Knight d2, d5, f3. It's quite similar to what happened in our game. It looks like black's a little backward in development. No, that is one problem with knight e4. I can understand your fear you don't want to allow e4. So I played kind of cautiously with a3. I did notice this though. There was a game 2 months before I was born between Petrosian and Werner Hug from Switzerland, and it's just interesting because every time I play this kind of thing with white, I'm always thinking of Petrosian, and there he is. Immediately, the first game in the list is in fact the Petrosian game where he won with the white pieces. I mean, a3 feels a little slow. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you never put the knight on d7 because you have a weakness with e6 in this type of setup. So here, knight c3 is still not too late. That's what Petrosian played. And despite me, Mariotti, and this I found interesting. I saw this before. Mariotti and Werner Hug both played knight on bd7. After I said knight on bd7 is rarely played because of the weakness of e6, they just did it despite me. Okay, I don't know, this exact variation. If I were black, I wouldn't I wouldn't know. But maybe Arsenal also has tried playing this. Um, this doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Well, I don't know what black's supposed to do exactly. If you play knight c6, you get in trouble with the d5. And I saw some Korchnoi game long ago where he was like white and demolished some guy. Um, and it was like knight d8. You can play knight d8 and then recapture with the knight here. What you don't want to do is take and get like destroyed down the c file and have white gain like a really like dominant outpost on d4. If it happens and you play knight c6 and white plays d5, you might be able to do this. You might be able to do this, but you never want to do this because this is a serious problem. I think. The other interesting thing I saw here was after this, the fact there's a Mariotti game. Where was it? Knight c3. I noticed Velikov against Mariotti. He was like the first ever Italian grandmaster. There's no way he's still alive, is he? I was surprised. He was like legendary for playing really aggressive, wild stuff. Bobby's birthday today. Yeah, because one of my best friends is the same birthday as Fischer. We always remember that. Is Mariotti still alive? Masturbate? I doubt it. I was surprised to see he still has a game from 2005. Alright, anyway. Knight on BD2, the quiet approach. This is played by a Soviet astronaut. After A5, how was Knight FD2? Weird. It's looking like I'm moving away from my king side there. I mean, this looks like I'm migrating away from the king side. Looks dangerous to me. I like that knight. Like, yeah, you could play that queen h5 and try to trade queens. Well, I doubt it's dangerous for black. I mean, when you've got those knights, like, I don't want to untangle them. It looks plausible, though. The engine actually likes knight e1 better, but that doesn't support e4. Now if queen h5, wow, knight d3. I would be like a little scared with that queen on h5. Anyway, I need to look at this from black's perspective. Okay, the game is reasonable. Knight on bd2. Now you play knight e4. So there's only 2 games where this position was reached. I mean, knight e4 is possible, but first of all, I'm not threatening to play e4 yet. Born in Naples, he was Italian champion in 1921. Different Mariotti. This is Sergio, not David Acerbate. Not Davide. Sergio. He played many games against Karpov. Grandmaster in the 70s. Italian #1 player in the 70s. No, I don't know, man. I mean, what are you supposed to play here? I'm not actually threatening e4 yet. So maybe black should play a developing move. These guys played knight c6. No, I know, but I'm not actually threatening it yet. So maybe you need to wait, It's better to wait until the last possible moment. Or you think it's too late if you wait one more move. I'll play queen c2 and then you can't stop it. Well, I mean, I guess this is a typical kind of, like, idea, but I'm on it. Can you do that? Like e5? Pawn takes e5. Pawn takes e5, knight takes e5. Knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, knight g4. For example, knight f3, guarding h2, defending this. Knight e5, knight e5. You're a pawn down. Nah, it's not real convincing. Close. So here you got a game by Starua and Nomken. You know, those guys are good players. One player played King H8, one player played Bishop D7. Yeah, Bishop F6 was the best move. Onishuk Nomken, 1992. Starua, 1993 with black. So Bishop D7. And if E4, now E5, how does it work? Huh. Huh. So how does this work? How does this work? Takes, 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 takes. What does Bishop D7 have to do with anything? You're basically waiting for white to play E4, I guess. So, okay, there's a game with this preparatory move, and it was a draw. Wait. The game from 2000 was like Rook A, E1, draw. What? Rook A, E1, draw. Nice game. But anyway, I think you should hold off a little bit. Alright, so you played knight e4. And now... Wow. I just took it. Right? No, I played e3. Okay. Yeah, I was afraid to play the computer's suggestion of knight e1. But it makes some sense. I might be able to play f3 later. You don't have a devastating threat right now. This reminded me of Petrosian. And I still have Arsenal's idea of trading queens. I don't know what you should do now. I feel like maybe exchanging knights is an idea. I don't really like the way you played it, but I guess it's not that bad. You know, I looked at the game. Knight d7's okay. Turned out to be the best move according to this engine. If knight d2, I don't know what I would do. You know, knight d2. I'd be happy to trade queens and just be slightly better. I'm trying to play a safe sort of system here. I'm not trying to play an attacking game with b3, but it looks like this is the best move, knight d7, wow. Knight e4, fe4, knight d2, queen d1, rook a d1. I thought I was better. I thought this pawn is like slightly overextended. So we both played like the best moves. f3, e takes f. It's like a French sort of breakthrough. Rook takes, bishop takes. And now c6. Best play by both sides. e4. And then I just thought I'm better. Oh, I'm better. Yeah, this is what surprised me. Takes here, and you have a very bad pawn on e6. Move 11 gifting a tier 1 sub to Parmenides, who we haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, I mean, you know you shouldn't do this, right? You should never voluntarily worsen your structure. I kind of understand, because it is a powerful pawn you're destroying on e4. But my play subsequently looked kind of stupid. After e4, I don't know what you should do. Maybe just like play this and hold. White's slightly better. Thanks, move 11. But I was surprised by this. Then I took, and then you went to trade pieces. You know, and looking at it in retrospect, I don't like what I did here. You know, I shouldn't trade pieces in this position. This is very bad. I have more space, you have a bad pawn, and if I were black, I would be scared I would avoid the exchange of pieces. So either this, probably this move, because honestly, like, this looks terrible for black. I think you're strategically close to lost here. After like knight c5, if you try to trade pieces, I have that. You probably have to play very, very carefully here. You know, king f7, and then try to hold on. Maybe, I don't know, this move, rook b8 and b6. But my knight can reroute here. This was a terrible move by me. You know, king g2. Letting you exchange knights and you're okay. I think at this point, once I allow this exchange, black's holding. It's a slightly unpleasant position, but you're able to mount pressure on d4. As passive as it looks, it's holdable. You bring your rook here, you put pressure on my pawn, and it looks like you're just hanging on. That was a huge blunder by me, to allow that exchange of knights. And then I was like, not sure how to get out of this pin, you know. So h4 stopped bishop g5. I see the threat here, and I think you're okay now, you know, objectively. Maybe black's still slightly worse. This was great. A great plan. Classic Stonewall Dutch plan. I know, if white's not careful, he could even end up worse. Yeah, it was very disappointing, though. I mean, I have a better structure. And my king is in the center. I mean, I should never really be worse. But, now you got your pawns the correct color. And I think here, if I'm you in this position, well, I mean, you have to calculate, because like there was some lines where I could take on c5 and sacrifice a piece. Did c5 not work immediately? Well, no, b7 is a problem. I guess he didn't want b7 to be hanging. Yeah, I'm not sure if he should do this exchange or not. But, you can't go into a king and pawn endgame. So after bishop takes d4, well, I don't know. I mean, your pawn on b6 is a problem. So you know you need to exchange here. Rook takes, and then your position's ugly, but it might not be lost. It's probably holding on, like rook f8. You should be able to activate. Right. You have g5. In some positions, liquidating. You know, it's not pretty, but it's probably a draw. I mean, theoretically, I'm still better. I can do b4, and my passer on the queen side is maybe quicker to mobilize. But I think it's a draw. I mean, I think the keys of this game were like, you know, the exchanges. Like, I made a bad exchange allowing you to trade knights, but you made a bad exchange, you know, doing this here. And you're lost now. I mean, I have the queenside majority. And the worst part is, like, your doubled pawns can't undouble. So even with the passed pawn, I mean, it's the outside passed pawn that wins. You know, although I was kind of nonchalant here, I thought, okay, it's automatically winning. I got a little bit scared. There might be some freakish draw. But I don't think so. I don't think that black can hold this. It's lost. It was a nice try. You know, you got rid of my outside pawn. So there's only two winning moves here. King d5 is good. You know, there was a funny moment now. So, okay, that's crazy. So I didn't see this in the end when I analyzed. I still can't believe it. King h4 is a draw. What? So king f4, as soon as I played king h4, I was like, why am I playing king h4? It occurred to me like immediately that I should go here. As soon as I played the move king h4. But I misevaluated this. I looked at this and I thought, okay, it's no problem. I just go here. And then on here I have this. And I just failed to understand that you could stop that pawn. Wow, that is instructive. Because you're in the square of the pawn. I quickly went over the games after the simul, but I didn't notice this. But I will tell you, I had a real bad feeling when I played king h4. And I consciously said to myself, like, why the bleep didn't I play king f4? But then when I calculated, I thought, okay, it's all okay, but it's not. Wow. So that's pretty tough. You have to find king e5. Not king f5. That's crazy. Just king e5. That would be hard. So the point is, on g6 now, you can play king f5. And if your king is on f5, guess what? You're not allowed to play king f5. So that's the point. You have to be able to play king f5 in this position, and then it's a draw. Unbelievable. So if your king is on f5, I play g6, and you play king f6, and I play like king g4. You play king e6, I play king f4, I start getting closer. But in the game you missed it. Play king f7. Now I'm winning. Yeah. There's no like crazy stalemates where you like hide in the corner. That happens sometimes. Here I have just a straight up opposition. So you resigned. Now king g8, king g6. King h8, g5. King g8, either way. King f6, king f8, g6, king g8, g7, here, king f7. Okay, that was a long analysis. We can't be spending that much time on every game. Acerbate is next, unless anyone wants to pay to be next. Send me a donation. To be up in the list. Or if anyone has an emergency, or they have to go now, raise your hand. It should be like a Zoom call where you can like raise your hand. Raise your hand if you have to go to the bathroom. I've got to stop the stream at 9:45, Move 11. So if you want to submit a game, I will do it if we have time. But I'm not going to make any guarantees. You love it when the kid opponents announce they have to go to the bathroom every time. Jesus, I never had that happen. That's crazy. They're like, can I go to the bathroom? Mr. Move 11? I've literally never had a kid opponent announce he was going to go to the bathroom. Are you serious? Wow, that's weird. I don't think I've ever had that happen. If I did, I just put it out of my mind. That's funny. So this is Acerbate. Let's see. d4, knight f6, knight c3. Acerbate faces. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think you should play c5 here. Acerbate, you could go back into Owen defense world with b6. You have to bounce away. Yeah, good. Thanks, Tomas. I think Astrobate... I've played this, if you want to be weird, but this is not really a great opening for black. You really have to play d5. Problem is, Astrobate doesn't play, like, classical openings. That's one thing with the Verisov that's annoying, you know? If you're an Indian defense player and someone plays this against you, it's freaking annoying, you know? If you're not used to playing structures with d5, it's a problem. What's funny is that e6 has a really good score for black. Well, I guess most people who play e6 are like French defense players, and the first requirement is to be a French defense player, and then it's not a problem. And most of the people who play the Verisov don't want to play the French. So e6 is like a psychological weapon. It could also transpose to a kind of Trompowsky. But Astrobate's move, you know, allows d5. I don't know, you're lucky, man. Really. You would have played like a bad check Benoni here, right? This is not a check Benoni. It's worse than check Benoni. I like how it's calling it Indian Defense Reversed Chigorin. So Astrobate's lucky. But this is such a bad move. It's like the baddest move ever. Fedoseev played this with white? Okay. I guess he could do what he wants. You can do what you want when you're 2700. He just wanted to take the Argentine guy out of book. I mean, maybe if you're playing someone who's like a 2500 Grandmaster and they're known for like theoretical knowledge, you know, maybe this isn't so stupid with white. Just do something weird like your name is Spectacular Camel. This is Spectacular Camel attack, or Freeze Nielsen. Basically, if you're Danish and you like weird openings, you play e3 here. It's not a good move, particularly. Black is white and white is black. You know, that's what's happening. I wouldn't even play d5 now at this point. What's the point? Why should we even play d5? Of course, you can have a good collie. But I would say, you know, just do g6. I would just play g6. Tycho. That's awesome, man. If your name is Tycho Dickois. That's just such a perfect name for like a boxer. Psycho Tycho. Someone here played g4. I wonder who that was. The problem with, you know, Arsenal's right, because if you play g6, you allow g4. This is what happened to Psycho Tycho. That's the advantage of being classical and playing d5. Oh, Freeze Nielsen lost? He played it against the Grandmaster from Denmark, Bjerre. See, he prevented g4 and all hope was lost. Unbelievable. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's an opening. I mean, we can play like knight f3 here, and like bishop e5, and we play some kind of. It's a Catalan in reverse. That's funny. So Astrobate played c takes d4. You know, this is not a great move, bro, because you're like opening up his bishop on c1. This is like making his bishop great again. That bishop's going to be running for president after this. Dude, look at that. And then Astrobate played the very, very dangerous knight c6. Basically, like, begging his opponent to, like, stuff the d-pawn down his throat. Here, have a d-pawn. I would be surprised if d5 wasn't good. But it would probably be better if supported by a pawn on c4, I guess. This is just not a good idea, bro. You're just asking for it. I'm saying bro too much lately. I got in the habit. So, Astrobate, you have to play either d5 or maybe e6. I would think like if e6, d5, now you can go bishop b4. And you probably can't maintain the d5. But I think after this you're in trouble after d5. White's just better. Yeah, I mean, knight b4 looks... I don't trust it. But okay, maybe. Maybe this is the best practical try. There's some weird possibilities here. I vaguely had the weird feeling, Arsenal fan, that I looked at this with Asterbate, tell you the truth. He's probably done this before, and I have a very vague memory of actually going down this line. And probably you're right. Like, knight b4 is not as bad as it looks. It's not as bad as it looks. It might be better than going fully passive with like knight b8. And I think it's definitely better than knight e5, because after this, like, I don't like black's position at all. It looks like a bad two knights tango. Yeah, maybe you almost have to do this, because otherwise you're just too passive. But don't put your knight on c6, Asterbate. This is even the same thing, probably. You could take, but I guess this. So he plays bishop g5, and now Asterbate played bishop b4. It'd be funny if we like taught Asterbate how to play the McCutcheon. What if we like turned Asterbate into a French defense player? Man, he'd be a wacko, really wacko French defense player. Can you imagine? Make Asterbate play every single game the French and go for the McCutcheon. How weird would his like games be? What if we told him he's only allowed to play the French? That would be really strange. It would take him a while to get the hang of it. But this is combative. You know, I like it. I like it. We could still transpose to a... You can actually still transpose to a kind of Rogozin, it looks like. For me, it's very hard to grasp this move, bishop b5. I mean, obviously our hero here, he appreciates the like symmetry of these pieces or whatever, but this is a pin and this is not a pin. So first of all, white like might be losing material, but it appears he has queen a5, bishop takes c6, though that's probably not very good. Queen e5, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, castles, or bishop d2. But this looks really bad. So like, what do you do on queen a5? You're threatening to win a piece, and you're threatening to take twice on c3. Maybe that's actually not the main threat. I mean, the main thing is taking on b5. We're preventing white from castling, you know? So bishop b5 is a bad move. This bishop needs to go to d3 here. Okay. Bad move, castles, too routine. Castles. And now Asterbate just Mr. Passive. A4, that's a weird idea. Playable. Yeah, I suppose A4 is not so stupid. Here, here, here. Well, it's A4 is better than, let's put it this way, it's probably better than taking on C6. I agree. It doesn't like lose control of this diagonal. I agree. Yeah, it looks like a Trompowsky or something. You're bringing back memories. But Asterbate, let's see, castles. Yeah, too routine, bro. Castle, castle. And this is a safe move, though. Yeah, I give him credit. This is a safe move. Taking away d5 from white. Very solid, sir. Here. It's curious, isn't it? Now it's problematic. What's up, Nefidov? It's problematic, problematic to decide what to do here. You know, interesting is d6. d6, knight c6, bc6, bishop c6, rook b8. I'm kind of interested in this. Just, I don't know, he has a loose bishop, loose pawn. But I'm not sure we can actually get anything here. Rook b1. It's not enough. So it doesn't quite work. It's hard to find a good move for black. So you played knight d5. Very solid. When in doubt, trade pieces. The point is, knight d5, bishop takes g5, and we're fine. Or bishop takes e7, and then you can take back either way, but probably this way. And black's a little passive, but still solid. Yeah, I have the feeling you have something better here, but what is it? What would it be? Queen c7? Can we play queen c7? It's plausible. Feels like maybe queen c7 is the quote-unquote like correct move for black. But I think knight d5 is okay. And then f4, which is just going too far. You've gone too far. Wow. This is pretty funny, man. After bishop g5? Huh? Yeah? After this? Well, there's this. Black has this move. No? This wins the exchange. Yeah, I mean, f4 is a blunder. But Asterby goes for the full piece. The full Monty. I think that's correct. The new solid Asterbate. So he has 3 pieces hanging. So how can we take 1 and then leave 2 hanging? There's only one way to do that. Correct. Peace up. Peace out. Nice game. It's a 2-for-1 sale. This is a clean game by Asterbate. It was almost cosmetic, like clinical. Clinique. Watch out for the mate in 1. That's sick, dude. I mean, why didn't White just play like rook a3 here? I mean, this is like, okay. If you have to play the worst possible move in this position, this is like the 4th worst. No, this is like the 4th worst. I don't know, man. Like, this is mate in 1. This is mate in 1. And this is mate in 1. This is sick, though. Rook e1. That's a really unfortunate mouse slip by the guy. I can only assume, like, he thought he was playing rook d1 or something. But it was nice and tight game by Asterbate. His opponent's lost anyway. Clear piece down with no compensation. Probably a mouse slip. A really bad one, though. Alright. Asterbate, better than the usual, like, craziness where your opponent, like, dropped a piece or something. He did, but it was, like, almost not a bad game. I don't mean to be too complimentary. Jim, you're up next. How are we doing on submissions from Move 11? Move 11. If you want to send a sub, you're welcome to. But again, no guarantees. I'm going to be streaming till 9:45, which is like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Jim is black. You do agree with Sladgie. C5 in the opening. It's a hard way to play after D5. You got no space. Astrobate used to play the check Benoni arsenal, but that's even worse than a normal check Benoni. That like pseudo Benoni where white can do like knight d2, knight c4 or whatever. He used to play the Owens. Owens Corning defense. Fiberglass variation. It's funny that like the opponent played e3. When I got this game from Jim, my assumption was that like Jim was white and he was just playing like a deferred b3 system. Jim must have been hoping for b3 on the next move. Then he knows what he's doing. But no. It was e3, e5. This is logical. If you're I think if you're a d4 player, you can play d5. If you're an e4 player, you play e5. Whatever, you know. But you have to be a little bit, unfortunately, with black, it's a French a tempo down. Maybe, I don't know, you know, maybe the Yabatis variation is more reasonable here. E4. Oh, that's funny. There was a game that my friend Geller played against Yuri Lapshin. It was something like b3, e5, bishop b2, e4, I think. Simon Williams played that twice. Hard to understand, really, how that's great, but... Okay, e3... This would be funny, though. e3, e5, d4, e4. The advanced variation. No, not Jim's... No, Jim's too correct. After e5, d4, he took. This is like the professional move, I guess. He's going to take equal position. If only you could transpose to the Budapest Gambit, Jim. Play knight f6 and hope that they play like c4 or something. I don't think this gambit is too hot. You know, this isn't the best version. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Theoretically, is it better to play d5 or knight f6? Wait, it's d5. Exclamation point. No, I don't know. It might be too much. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you don't want to commit. You know, you don't want to commit to knight f6 too early. But man, beating the exchange French, Jesus Christ. I don't want to play the black side of the exchange French. Can we not do that? I still say play queen e7. No one's ever played that here. Yeah, I mean, okay, d6. Knight c6. Those are your options. So, takes, d5, knight f3, now knight c6. Yeah, I don't really recommend playing the Godiva variation with like colors reversed. But it's possible, you know, if you really want to be crazy. How is c5 a line? Right. You're playing the line where you like pushing the envelope a tempo down. The only player playing it is like Savely Golubov, who I think I destroyed his mind by playing the 3 a.m. variation against him when he was young. That's it's a transposition, right? To this. Whatever that is, right? Martial counterattack, yeah. It's a martial counterattack transposition. Very marginal. But knight c6. I think like the best moves are knight f6 and bishop d6 probably. So now white plays h3. h3, if it's h3. So what's up with knight c6? You're gonna try to castle long? Or not necessarily? Bishop 5 is like a very correct sort of move. What would Kamsky do? Alright. There are those lines where black castles queenside, but this guy went h3, preventing bishop g4 here. Yeah, now you played a weird move. Bishop e6. I mean, this is a pretty odd setup. Honestly. Aspie, thanks for the gift sub for Delver. What's up, Delver? Yeah, we had some interesting games. What is the time control for this game? Like 1 minute? 5 minutes? 5-0? Well, honestly, Jim, you understand that like you should put your bishop on a good diagonal in the exchange French. But he'll probably trade it off. Then the question is, I remember Gata or someone had some weird game against some guy where the guy like did queen d7. This is kind of aggressive way of playing for black rather than helping white's development. We're going to try to play on our terms. But I mean, I think the key is like we're trading. We're always trying to trade our bad bishop for their good bishop. You wanted to avoid this trade. Well, you got it, bro. You definitely avoided it. You got your bishop on e6. This is the worst, that's the amputated octopus. He's got a good bishop and you have a bad one. But on the positive side, that doesn't mean it's going to always be bad. And you might have a lucky sack on h3 or something. Castles, bishop d6, bishop g5. I think bishop g5 might be a good move. No, I mean, this is probably a bad idea, actually. So you're going to castle queenside, I assume, like rook e1? Are you going to play, what are you going to play? You're going to play queen d7, castle long? White is better. But maybe it's not that simple. Yeah, he might have c4 there. Rook e1, queen d7, c4. This is really nasty. You probably, I don't know, man. I don't like this. You're okay, wow. D takes c4, bishop takes c4. Castle queenside. It's equal according to the engine. You just have time to get away with it. No, knight g5 looks quite normal. It is, but at the same time, white has to be careful. That could be like a good gambit for black to sacrifice that pawn. We're talking like de la Bourdonnais or whatever, man. it might be too much. But I don't know about bishop g5. I don't like this little turn of events here. Bishop g5, h6 here, giving you like g5, and like launching your own like nuclear missiles on the king side. It's pretty freaking obvious you wanted to do a pawn storm. So he's like speeding it up for you. Like white's big hope is you're going to do this, but why would you do this? You don't have to do that and like open the F file for the guy. I honestly thought you might just like chill here and play something like queen d7. You could also play rook g8. You have other moves. Yeah, house sack, dangerous sack on g5. Nothing. g5's nothing. Black isn't castled. I mean, that's the important thing. He could go here, you know. It's nothing for white. I think it's only really dangerous if black was committed to castling kingside. Okay, g4 takes. Knight takes g4. So bishop takes g4 allows him to check you. So you take with the knight. But I mean, this is now a kind of thing. So bishop h4, that's a good move. Oh, but you have like tricks with bishop h2 check or something? You already are getting close to tactics here. You know, knight takes d4 isn't going to work. Bishop h2 check, nope. Sack the queen, nope. Knight h2, nope. And you can't castle queenside. He's cutting you off. That is kind of annoying. Shit. Alright, so you bite the bullet and you played this. He goes back. Implicit draw offer. Now you played queen d7. Now white's turn. And I think that white needs to, you know, get in touch with reality and be very vigilant here. I don't know about knight takes d4. I didn't see that working. White wants to open the game while the black king is in the center, but very difficult to get in c4. So he ends up tossing the knight to e5. That doesn't look particularly dangerous. You took with a g knight. Actually, I'm surprised by that. It opens up this, but I thought you'd trade with your other knight and leave the forward knight on g4. I hate this knight on c6 anyway. It's like getting in the way of the pawn, and you know, after this, takes to the bishop, you take it and you're better, but you're still better here. You have a very good position here. He has no f3. This is an excellent position for black. You're just like, you got a free roll on the king side. So I guess this was his last chance to do something sensible now for white. And if c4 doesn't work, I mean, this can't be a bad move, right? Rook e1. Yeah, absolutely. But Jim's going to castle, and now what does white do, you know? Guess bishop b5 or something. The queen is a little squeezed. That actually looks pretty annoying. I definitely wouldn't really like that. This is going to get scary, but it's a good thing we've got a knight to capture on e5. So like h5. What's the evaluation? Wow, black's better. Black's better. He can blockade h4. But this bishop b5 isn't enough to... It's not enough to turn the tables on your initiative now. Yeah, I mean, what he did was bad. He sped up your attack. It was too much, the whole bishop g5, bishop h4, doing that without you being castled and committed to castling kingside. So he's still paying for it. But I wonder if his chances are any better here. I mean, this looks to me like very bad situation. Okay, but you took with the other knight, right? Either way, it's good. Good for you. I guess he wanted to keep the line open, but this knight on c6 doesn't really do a lot. a3, and then unbelievable move here for black. I mean, 99 out of 100 players would have played rook d g8. And we're just going to go with the h-pawn and give white the last rights. But you played f5. Yeah, it's not that good because it opens up this bishop here. And this isn't such a big deal for him. You know, he doesn't care. He put his knight on c3. He doesn't care about this. But I think this, from your perspective, is a little more worrisome. And he might even be able to hit something here. So you should have just kept the situation closed and just, you know, he's dead. It looks like he's dead, honestly. Like, this is very easy, you know, straightforward. So he might have gotten a little bit of a chance now. See, rook e1. Any tactics? Well, I don't know. Obviously you want to go with the h-pawn. You move the bishop again. Okay, this gets in the way. He tries to trade pieces. I mean, I expected him to play this, but I guess he could play either or. This attacks d5. Yeah, that sucks. And now he actually plays bishop h5, blockading your h-pawn. I'm not real happy about that. That sucks. You can probably break out rook g5. I'm not sure if rook g5 actually threatens anything. This is a threat, but you have knight d4, so he blundered. What about like bishop h4? I mean, there you could sack the exchange. But that's the kind of thing Arsenal was talking about, like rook takes, king takes, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, bishop g4. Then you have the last laugh with rook g8, for example. I don't know. King h3. And like white is... It's probably equal. Maybe white's still worse. White is down a pawn. Yeah, you kind of fouled it up. Queen e2, this is a blunder. Knight d4. And then this. But you don't seem to have a clear threat. That's a sick move. Rook c1. Rook c1! Yeah, he must have been kind of desperate to find a move here. He was like, oh shit, I can't move any of my pieces. That's weird. It's funny how he really, you know, rook e3 looks like a reasonable move in retrospect. Yeah, rook c1 is not that stupid, to be honest. It guards c2, freezes queen. Jim has this. But it's a typical bullet blitz game. Not a lot of deep concepts here. White's just trying to survive. And now it may be too late. Move the king, h4. It looks like white's lost. He played king f1. Maybe it's the best try. I don't know what to recommend. Otherwise, just go. You know, you practically have like bishop takes f2 in some positions. This might allow for some sort of lateral defense. But Jim just takes. This is like desperation. So he intended to take here, but realized he's like getting mated. And so he played this instead. Thinking like he's holding on. Oh, you had that move. That's a nice move you've got there. I saw it earlier, but he didn't realize. Nice game. Alright. The French exchange. Always satisfying to beat the French exchange. Alright, Repunj is probably in bed already, but he sent me his simul game against Anand for Thursday. My simul game against Vishy Anand. I don't know exactly when this was played. I think it was like last year. He let the time run out? Damn. In a 5-0 game. Oh, interesting. So Vishy played the Sveshnikov. So we're white against Vishy Anand in a simul game. And then here Repunj played the Alexander Ivanov variation, which maybe should be played more often, honestly. Because, you know, everyone plays either the main line or now Knight D5 was all the rage since the Caruana Carlsen World Championship. So those two lines everybody knows, but it seems like this one, I think Ivanov had that going for a long time, that he played this variation because people just didn't study it as deeply as the others. It's inherently like very positional. You're doing like knight a3, knight c4, knight e3. It's solid. But I'm not an expert. I remember once I was staying with this guy, Jonathan Yedidia, at a tournament. He beat Ivanov in this variation. We had like prepared for him or something. He managed to beat Ivanov with black. But I can't remember if it's better to play bishop e6. This makes a lot of sense. You play like Larson style. I really don't remember though. The statistics look good. But there's like no games since 2004. That's pretty weird. So a6. I'm going to assume not enough people play a4 apparently. There's also h6. Although it looks stupid. It stops bishop g5. Yeah, I don't know. This variation is just underplayed. You know, a4 ought to be played more often. It's a good sideline. Okay, so a6 from Anand, knight a3 forced, and now bishop e6 is like main line. Yeah, I remember this being a move. Looked at this with someone. I don't remember if it was on the stream. That was a long time ago, like 3 years ago. When we maybe I played it once with white or something, and someone played this. I can't remember. Let's see, player. Blobix, of course. In 2019, I played Blobix. 2019, guys. That's insane. So May of 2019, right after my mom passed away. Blobix played bishop e6 though, main line. So why do I have a memory of this? That's weird. Alright, so bishop e6 is main line. Let's go back to our theory. Now bishop c4. Rook c8. No. Whoa, bro. So bishop c4 is the #1 move in the database here. It's also possible to play bishop g5, knight d5. Not knight d5 because of knight e4. Knight c4, this is a classic move. But check this out. Ripunj played bishop c4, and Anand played a novelty now. Knight takes e4. In a simul novelty. Does Anand even play the Sveshnikov? He doesn't normally play it, right? But he knows everything. He's like Ivanchuk in knowledge, but he doesn't actually play everything like Ivanchuk. I don't think this is a joke, you know. I don't think he's just like randomly making a move. He probably knew this is a thing. But I guess even Anand could make like a mistake in a simul or something. So what happens on bishop e6, knight c3? Bishop f7 check, king f7, queen f3 check. That's the game. Well, I mean, in that variation, black's taking on e6, you know? What about knight e4? Is it just nothing, knight e4? And if you do play knight e4, does black play d5 right away? Or does black take on c4 and then play d5? For example, if knight e4, do we do this? Bringing that knight in the game, then play d5? So check it out, there's a transposition. Wait, it's a badass move here, apparently. Bishop g5. So that's definitely no good. You know, this looks like something. If d5, bishop g5 here. Damn. You kind of wonder, like, is Anand bluffing? Like, he's in the simul against kids. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, play a lot of bluffs. You know, you get the easy simul wins and, like, in your bluff games, and people give you a lot of respect. Wow, this is good for black. Shit. Queen d7 and just, damn. That's crazy. Black just ends up a pawn. You got nothing. Damn, dude. Stone cold doesn't work. So you basically like have to play this. Black plays knight takes. Arsenal's variation. I just had another idea. Like, I was thinking about something crazy here, queen g4, but that's sort of stupid, right? I mean, I think what Ripunj did makes sense. Bishop takes f7. Check. And now what? He goes for the ending. Right. Queen f6. But, there will not be an ending. This square is weak. It's the Sveshnikov. So what's our evaluation here? Check. Well, it's black's move. Yeah, it's a good thing it's black's move because knight, like queen b3 check is a threat. So knight d4. Arsenal suggested knight d4. It's definitely a move. Oh, Vichy played for the Acerbate cheapo. Bishop b4, Acerbate's favorite move. This is more wholesome than knight d4 because it kills the knight on a3. It threatens the cheapo, but it's more developmental than. But I just want to know, like, is this shit really sound? Oh wow. So it's kind of a bluff. Knight e4, bishop e6, knight c3, bishop f7, king f7. And now white's best move is just to recapture on c3. See, like, nobody's gonna play that. I guarantee Anand knows that, you know. Guaranteed. He knows it, but it's like, oh yeah, this is perfect for a simul. And even this is okay for black. I mean, the knight sucks. The knight sucks, that's the worst thing about white's position. The knight on a3. There's no way, you know, we're not going to go for something like what happened in the game. Preserve our structure. I bet, you know, this has been played somewhere before. Just not in a known game. So black's already better. Black has just such perfect control of the center. There's only a little bit of weaknesses on the white squares here. But that knight on a3 is just sick. This is hard, man. Very easy to lose here with white against Anand. It's very easy to lose against Anand anywhere. Yeah, queen g3, I figured. You also have f4. f4 is just going to be like e4 in your face. But you could play like f4, f5, something crazy. Queen g3 is not stupid. I mean, it's definitely one of our only options. Somebody's got to tell me how the hell we're getting our knight back in the game. I need to know. Yeah, this is really bad. But I feel like this is the critical moment where, like, white doesn't fix his shit here. White is in big trouble. That's also walking into the fork, though. If you play queen g3, you're going to have to, like, deal with that fork. Which means probably rook e1. Which is actually okay. Yeah, this is the move the engine wants to play. Because you have d4 here, check. You know, this kind of situation might be survivable for white. Yeah, but I like black a lot. e3 is bad. I can't wait to see if this is like engine move. So Anand doesn't play the engine move, e4, going into an ending. h5 is not a bad move for a simul game. He just goes h4. See how little effect white is having on the center. It's unbelievable. The knight on a3 is just the worst, man. I would play knight b1. I know, I mean, maybe first we have to play h3 here. Or stop h3. I don't really like allowing h3, dude. The computer wants to play this. But whatever, at least h3. I don't want to allow h3, particularly. Yeah, he plays h3. Now you have to play g3. And you're going to have to play f3 or something. This is just sick. That is so sick, bro. Bishop c5. Yeah, you don't want to see like an over-the-board game. Like, simul's bad enough. He makes the simul game look like a brilliancy. The knight needs to be fixed. I adjust. This is where I pick up my knight and, like, say adjust and put it on e2 or something. Jadoub. This is like white. What's white doing? Like c4? You're threatened with bishop d4. God. So you can't even play knight b1 because you lose to bishop d4. It's so terrible. Oh my god. Now he played queen e6. What's that about? Just getting off the diagonal. Anand was worried about what? f4 at some point later? King h1 and f4? Maybe he was aiming for d5. So, I think you need to play knight b1. But it's terrible, and white's lost, probably. Not enough space. This is understandable, though. It's understandable to play c4. And now there was in-between move. I'm getting tactical with Anand now. Repunch. I would probably, like, be satisfied with queen e2 here if I were white. But he had to get fancy with, like, rook e1. Bishop a3. And then he gets fancy with, so it's not just against me. He's even fancy against Anand. Rook takes e4. And now knight e5. Rook e5. Rook e5. Bishop e5. Queen e5. And black's up a piece. So what just happened here? White just like got fancy for no reason. So you could just do something normal like queen e2. But you played this. And then again, you could just do something normal like recapture the bishop. But instead you played bishop rook takes e4. So what's happening here? Now it's like this, or this check is nothing. But let's say you recapture. What the heck is going on? What is Anand's plan? Is he like going into the ending? I mean, is he gonna take here and on rook e6 play like rook d3? And black's just like got a good endgame. There's this. Hello. I'm assuming it's the endgame. Sorry, guys. Here. Bishop a3. No. Yes. Yes, he would play the endgame. Bishop a3, pawn takes f3, rook takes e6. But this is even stronger. Knight d4. This is sick, man. Like, you're equal material, but your king is in jail. Yeah. It's just, it's bad. It's bad. It's a jail king. Who's that guy? Charles Bronson? White's king is Charles Bronson. Like the British Charles Bronson. He asked for parole, but they're like, nope. You're not getting parole. You're too dangerous to be let out. No parole for you, buddy. I think Charles Bronson is a slight risk, if released. The psychologist said he's not ready yet. Alright, so Repunj was right to try this, but Anand is just brutal tactically and positionally and everything. He's just up a piece now. Sick, man. That king was never okay. White's king. Jeez. And then it's just an ending. It's good to know that it's not just me, like, Repunj doesn't resign against. He's not resigning against Anand, like, that other piece. Anand not messing around with the technique there. Repunj is, like, not gonna... He's gonna last as many moves as he can. He wants to make it to move 50. It's understandable, actually. You didn't make it to move 50. You gotta at least say you played 50 moves. He resigned on move 49. Alright. Back to... That was a fun game, though. I'm surprised Repunch didn't share that before. Yeah, tough matchup. What's Anand like in Simul strength? If Anand is like 2750 now in one-on-one, how strong is he? How strong is he in like Simul? He's only 2600 exactly. 2625, 2650. Mid 26. Alright, Mule Skinner. The Mule. It's game 4 over the board, and I'm white. Pablo Lopez Ramirez. Mule is white. The crazy is, imagine playing him when he was 30. Yeah, he probably plays faster than the little kids. Okay, the Mule Skinner is white in the French Tarash. You know what's weird? Mule Skinner has always played the French since we've been streaming, and his opponents always play the French against him. Like, what is it? Is it that Mule Skinner only submits games in the French, or like everyone he knows plays the French defense? Because like 9 out of the last 10 games he's submitted are like French defenses. Yeah, I mean, objectively, I think that c5 is the best move, probably. This is like a modern treatment with knight f3. I have a friend who played this, but I don't get that. You know, like, why do you want to play that? I don't understand that. That seems kind of lame. I just don't understand how taking on c5 fundamentally can be right, you know? To hand black a tempo like that. So here black has like 1,000 moves. Okay, just like 4. Knight c16 is the most principled. You play this, you know, knight behind your developed pawn. And then is there anything wrong with queen takes here? Just asking question out loud. I mean, could that transpose back into a normal line, or is it bad? It has a terrible score. Just out of curiosity. I guess if black wants to take with the queen, maybe... Oh, knight d4, well, that might be some kind of weird gambit continuation. But I was wondering, well, what else can you do here? What would Nigel Short do? Probably h6 or something. Oh, c takes d4. Okay, no, well, this is like the Sicilian style. cd4 is like Uber driver style. Knight f6 allows, what, e5. But I was wondering, if knight f6, ed5, if we take with the queen, we don't get like a transposition. I don't understand. So it never really makes a transposition. It has some kind of independent significance. It doesn't go back into those other lines. So if you're a player who wants to play the queen takes d5, and white doesn't play ed, it's a little bit of a dilemma. Knight c6, e takes d5. Now this is not considered great. Friedel Robeson. Bishop c4. I mean, there's obviously like there. That would be a problem if queen d6. Queen d7. So what do we got here? Some recent games. Anyway, it's theoretically possible. But he plays ed. This is the normal way to play. And now we transpose back into theory. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of against queen d5. I agree. I never thought of that either. I always thought of knight f3 just, as a move that doesn't release the tension or trade anything. Maybe it keeps the game like more, tense. But here Muleskinner plays really, for me, a very rare move. Everyone plays bishop b5. He just plays bishop e2. This move is like guaranteed to take your opponent out of book. Although objectively it might not be dangerous, it's been played by some quite good players. I mean, I don't think that black can take this pawn and hang on to it. Although, to be honest, like c takes d4, it's kind of a principled move in a way. White's going to play castles to avoid any kind of like checks. This is a problem. By the way, I just want to go on the record and say that this guy, this Renman, Nils Gustav, is an asshole. He was at the World Senior Championship. He was like an extremely arrogant and obnoxious guy. He's like some Swedish IM. He was playing in the 65 plus group. In my hotel, he stayed in my hotel and he was like, the servers in the hotel breakfast buffet were like trying to guard the food, like make sure that everyone got like a fair portion. And like when they left the room for like a second, he ran there and he started like just helping himself to all the food in the buffet while everyone else had to wait for like the servers and stuff. Just a really, he was just a dick, I don't know him. It's just, he just seemed, and his poor, and he had this wife that was like beat down and she was real nice, and obviously like he's like a monster and his wife is just like falling around with her head down like a beaten dog or something. It was horrible. The guys, it was disgusting. But anyway, just wanted to get that out of my system. Nils. Alright. So knight f6, castles, and now the moment of truth. c4. That's cool. I wouldn't play it, but it's cool. Yeah, I mean, okay. White plays bishop e2. Black doesn't take, plays knight f6. So this is obviously a possibility. But then we're like giving up that tempo again. What's up, Bijak? Here, castles, and then c4. No, I didn't get to your game. I got your game. I'd imagine living with a chess player will do that to a woman. Guy is just an obnoxious jerk. It was just written all over him. I mean, I normally don't go out of my way to like single people out and hate them, but it was like every time I saw him, he was like doing something obnoxious and weird. Most of the people were really cool and friendly. Didn't do anything to me personally, but the way he treated the woman in the hotel was Just awful. Alright. Castles. So what should black do? Yeah, I mean, I guess you have a problem. You either have to take c4 or lose a tempo. C4 has a bad score. No, but it kind of makes some sense. How bad can it be? Bourguignon played it in 1992. Not that... I want to say that's not that long ago. I mean, the normal thing is like, b3 takes, a takes. We get that kind of structure. But white played rook e1. Rubinstein structure. There is another possibility here for white. If we played like c3, could we play knight e5 at some moment to set up a sort of like stone wall? Yeah, I mean, it's unclear if black has time for b5 or not. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just saying, like, maybe we can plonk the knight on e5 and start to play with our rook like it's a stone wall. So that's my only question about rook e1. This obviously makes most sense. If Kramnik was white, right, what would Kramnik play? b3. Now, does c3 work? Probably not. Damn, Marina Muzichuk actually had a game in this. Wow. This guy's crazy. He played c3, knight b1, knight e4. This Georgian guy. Queen e1, bishop e4. Damn, they're like battling to the death here. This is wild. I mean, a3 is obviously a thing. Here, queen a5. Holy shit. The ghost of Uber Driver would be happy. It would be the ghost of Frank Marshall. And then she sacked the exchange here. This is a crazy game. Wow. White's better. Damn, dude. So she missed the key move here. Apparently, like, the whole thing is unsound. But white has to play b5. This is an insane variation. b5, knight b4, bishop a3. Now a5, b takes a6, knight takes d3. Obviously, right? C takes d3, allowing c2. This is the most absurd variation ever. Rook takes a6, d takes e4. Of course. It's equal. F takes e4, knight e5. Nice knight. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's crazy. See, that's why it's very much simpler to play. That's why it's easier to play c3. If you play b3, like, all hell breaks loose. On the other hand, Mule Skinner's move makes some sense. You have this here. It's basically like a Kali system sort of thing. Now the knight can go to f1. So there's no fear of b3 now. Fear of retribution. Well, with this line, actually this is fine or not. I'm still not convinced. You still have knight e4. I'm still not 100% convinced here. Queen d3, you gotta watch knight b4. You probably have to preempt that with a3. It's still not clear to me what the hell is going on here. Wow. No, this is actually possible. Yeah, that's weird, man. There's 8 games here, and c3 is the best move, and nobody had the guts to play it. Well, it might be the best move. No one knows. But out of 8 games, and no one attempted it. Everyone's a chicken. Knight f1. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, see, people are afraid of complications. Natural. Human instinct. Okay, so Mule Skinner played like really conservatively here. Knight f1, castles. He still didn't do c3. He's anti c3. Okay. Bishop g5. He played like he was black. If you're not going to play b3 though, like what are we going to do? Like where's our forward plan in this position? I don't know about knight e3. You see, like this kind of makes sense. But again, it's like a Pillsbury formation. Again, I don't know if I want my rook on f1 here, ideally. Knight g3. I kind of like that better too. But I'm not quite sure what our plan is here. We're putting pressure on the d5 pawn. Because that's a... And by the way, do you call that a backward pawn? It's not really a backward pawn. That's it. Now how do we put more pressure on it? We're going to have to play knight e5. He played that. Black doesn't need to play this move, knight e4 here. And I have to question if that's a good idea. Like Arsenal was talking, I mean, supporting the queen side. I'm also not sure about like h6 even. Is that necessary? No games, so we're just analyzing. Thanks for the offer. Ultimately, I mean, does h6 accomplish anything for black? I feel like we should just, you know, go for the space on the queen side. Secure c4 at least. What else can black do? I mean, I suppose knight e4 is not that bad. h6 seems kind of random. Okay. Here, take. I mean, that is black's good bishop for white's bad bishop, theoretically. Queen takes. And now finally c3. That allows us to play like knight d2 to challenge the knight here. But at this point, it's starting to look kind of cramped for white. Clearly f5 might be on the agenda. Now he plays b5. And now white, you know, white needs to, I think, act quickly. This is kind of slow. My first thought is knight d2. And my second thought is you're close to knight takes c4. Here, you have it right away? No, sir. Well, that's why you played b5. Oh, you have it now? Well, I mean, there's a pin. Well, that's probably why you put his queen on c2, too. 2-2. Bishop takes. Queen takes. Here. 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 Before b5, but no. You think? You have this? I want to take a pawn. Now, there's a problem with this, though. You're going to have to get creative. But you might just be able to get away with it somehow. Like, what's going on? Rook takes. Knight takes d5, bishop d5, knight d2. It seems like black might win two pieces with the rook. It's kind of murky, so I wouldn't be sure. This is very safe, but my first priority is get rid of knight. So knight d2 is very solid. Knight d2, f5, and then what? You take and play like f3? Because this looks scary. Or you just play like f3, probably. Frank Marshall again. We need that one more move before we have any threats. And black has time. Black will have time to kind of consolidate. It's a position. I don't know. Queen c2 feels slow to me. Too slow. But do you really want to get in the way of the f pawn? Do you really? Maybe. Alright. He doesn't want to play f5. Black doesn't want to risk that. Now a4. I don't know, man. You want to do that on the queen side? Queen f6 pins you to f2. So yes, this is a normal move to play. But you still can't move the knight. I would still play it. We have this in some positions. No, I mean, black has a lot of space. In a4, it feels like you're playing on black's stronger side. I feel like I'm playing the Queen's Gambit declined. We're basically playing the Queen's Gambit declined with the white pieces. So now b3, and obviously black has no... black does not have to cave here. But he was worried about his knight. He could have played f5, by the way. So he gives up the strong pawn on c4. But white has a backward pawn as well. Really, we need the spelunker for all these cave-ins. Caved on the c pawn, now we're caving on the b pawn. Take, take. I don't like the position of this queen, but we have to. Queen a3, I guess. He went back to c2, okay. And then rook b6. There's something happening here. Like, black feels like he's caving in the center. I'm starting to like white more and more. And I like the white structure. We've got very centralized pieces. Pressure on d5. White's position is, like, growing. I don't like black's decision to give up that pawn on c4. So this is the best white's position has been, like, the whole game after the opening. It feels like. You can obviously play rook a1, but then a5. Queen a2, hitting the d pawn. I mean, this is a theoretical possibility. It is kind of hard to up the ante, though. This looks like a massive liquidation, but then there's that. I know that white's not worse now. I'm sure white's not worse now, but I don't like this outside pawn. So now we're just trading pieces. Doesn't seem right. Outside pawn. Hello. Cheapo. White still has a good feel in the center. Shouldn't be worse. It's very hard to pick off the A pawn, though. We might need to maneuver. Knight e5. Yeah, that could undermine it. Another thing is, like, maybe white is going to need to play, back rank. Eliminate back rank weakness. This isn't good. This is not a plan. Bishop a6. It's just a one-move threat. I don't know about it. I mean, the rook is a bit awkward there, but I don't like the bishop on a6 either. So he goes for knight e5, but I don't like our hanging bishop. White has been steadily gaining ground, and now take, d3 is, c3 is hanging. In between move is possible. Rook takes. Yeah, c4 has been a theme for a long time, but I never really saw, like, white necessarily wanting to play that. Because you blow up everything if you do that. I feel like white's better now. If you do this, it's like you're just like liquidating everything. I'm hoping that this pawn falls or this pawn falls. You know, if you do c4, it's like shake hands and trade all the pawns off as a draw. But if white can pick off one of these pawns, he might have chances to win, you know? So I think Arsenal's suggestion of this, or I don't know how that breaks down tactically, but or like slowly, you know, trying to encroach on the a pawn. White can play this position gradually. Maybe white's a tiny bit better. See? But it likes, the computer likes bishop a6. Wow. I didn't really like that move. No, I think like c4 is likely to be a draw. So finally now, like there's an in-between move here. But there's a nasty response. Queen d4. So he was not able to take that. Is there any chance to play for a win? Bishop takes e4, pawn takes e4, queen takes... I mean, I don't know, in like a technical ending, is there any way we could like win here? Because like his pawns are on the wrong color? Probably not. h4. This is like 100% draw. I mean, theoretically this pawn could fall or something. Wow. I mean, Muleskinner is totally taking a risk, I guess, by taking his rook off this file. If he takes here, he's getting back rank mated. You have to retreat his knight back to f1. So that's kind of awkward. And now g6. And now black has a passer. So he takes, gets checked, has to retreat. Then pawn takes. Oh my god. Now rook a4. Oh my god. This is like my worst nightmare. How did this happen? There's no way white is like losing here. So takes knight e4. You should have just taken right away. Just taken right away and then take. You know? And then you're fine. Takes, 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 and like h4. White has no losing chances. If anything, white is like a fraction better. My god. And now this. And now because of that back rank trick, if takes, rook c1 check, knight f1. But I mean, honestly, you could take here. Does knight takes d4 works here? Where? Like, can you be more specific? Knight takes d5 where? When can we play knight takes d5? I mean, the bishop's hanging. Here? I don't understand. When in the world could white play knight takes d5? Where in the world is Waldo? King h7, bishop c2, g6. Oh, you want to play knight takes d5 here? No, we're getting back rank mated. A rook's hanging. Other than queen takes a5? No. No, you're losing a piece. This is like defended. No, I don't think there's any moment where you could play knight takes d5. This is so sick. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna be sick. And then there's nothing you can do. This has got to be lost. Man, that's really sad. Alright, another unnecessary loss in time pressure. We've got, yeah, that's crazy. Mule Skinner does not deserve to lose. Going back. Learn, study. How much time do I have left? I have a little under an hour. Study. My studies. Do we get a donation? Maltisha has followed. Astrobate gifted earlier. Move 11 gifted earlier. Thank you guys. Yo, it should be me. I'll think about it. Okay, we've got Ubatis, Morales, Ars, and maybe move 11 if I have time. The tricky gambit. Right. Ubatis is white. I didn't know what game you put in here. Only for the lulz. Some guy who's rated 2475 played this against Popkin. Played another game against Sketchcop. Can someone tell me how that guy is rated 2475? Excuse me? How do you be rated 2475 and play this crap? That seems kind of sus, to be honest. Honestly, Schieberspieler is catching up to me. He's 2337 now. But dude, honestly, if I had a 20k factor, I'd be stoked. I would actually try to get my rating back over 2400 again. Oh no, we didn't do your game? How did I skip your game? That's weird, Sumahair. I skipped your game. But I don't know how or why. It was an accident. So you're playing white. Wow. Thanks for reminding me. Sorry. Your game should have been earlier. I just accidentally skipped it. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're playing knight c3. e6. Yeah, it's a good reason to play knight c3. Takes. Sorry, Spectacular. You gotta wait. And then knight f6. Yeah, this is a very rare move. Of course, bishop b4 is normal. The gambit, bishop b4, bishop d2, queen d4, blah 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 blah. Another Marshall gambit. Here is a sideline. It's possible to play knight c3. I saw Foigle play that once. Hard to believe that people played g takes f here. So this is funny. It could transpose to a Florida Mykonos English after knight f3. Knight f3, c5. Check is better. Now here you don't have time for king f1. That sucks. Okay, bishop d2. I mean, black has, all of his pawns on light squares, and the problem is, as Dragon Kusic says, trade 2 pieces and she doesn't know how to attack. You have a good position, but limited attacking chances with 2 minors off the board. So you have to have good technique here. You're not going to be able to just brute force checkmate this guy with 2 minors off. It's not so easy. Bishop d3. I mean, I think castling queenside is a possibility. What would Yasser do? g6 is a lemon, a theoretical lemon. Korchnoi would have played it, rook d8. Not g6, 100%. h6 is probably bad too. h6, h4, threatening knight g5. I like that. No one's played this. But I mean, we had this. Gotta like that. If I have a free move here, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's too much. G6 is a bad move. Because he doesn't have enough pawns on light squares. That's the problem. Oh, checkers! We're not playing checkers. Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, he's better off playing, like, h6, and then doing, like, rook d8 and running his king out to the center with king e7 or something, than playing g6. G6 is terrible. Here. You obviously can castle queenside. So it's interesting. h5, maybe... That's a reasonable attempt. I mean... I don't really want to trade queens here, bro. You know, this looks nice, but... I want to play g4. If I could play g4, it's game over. But it hangs a knight. Rook h3 allows e5. In some positions. What about this? It's too slow. It looks too slow. You can definitely castle queenside. It's safe to say, like, even Yasser Seirawan would be okay with castling queenside here. Alright, h5, knight e5. I don't know. I mean, we don't want to trade pieces. But, I mean, dude. After knight e5, I think, you know, you might have to play, like, f4 or something. You definitely don't want to trade pieces. This guy needs to trade pieces. You don't want to trade pieces. But what are you going to do? You know, this sucks. So you probably have to play f4. And, you know, you're going to just castle and play g4 and hope, you know, that it's enough. But yeah, knight e5 probably not a great move. I would just castle. I'm sure that white has a tremendous advantage here. But, yeah, knight e5 inaccurate, but this is a waste of time. You know, king g7 looks like a waste of time. Castles, knight d7, too late. f4. So he's like, didn't need to waste time on king g7. And now, nice try though, c5. I mean, that's a fat pawn, right? Can we just take the pawn? Fat camp. It's very tempting to play g4. I bet g4 is good. Sorry, g4, h5. Well, I mean, I'm just thinking g4 here. You know, this looks pretty good. I can't imagine black's okay. It's only +3. Yeah, I mean, grabbing the material, though, it was my first thought, but I think it's a bad idea. This pawn is hard to maintain. I don't want to play b4. No. No, g4 is killing. Schumacher was too hesitant here. g4 is totally devastating. We have no time to screw around. Yeah, that's what they said about Arsenal fan. I mean, that's what they say. What I heard. Alright. c5, an old joke, but a good one. Basically, you wasted time. But now, you know, he's undermining your center, and this is a thang. You had good control of e5, and you could have blasted him with g4, and you didn't. This is, yeah, I mean, you still have a huge advantage. But black can have a hope to hang on. Look, mono squares, so e7's the only square. So it's like, positional torture. Yeah, bishop g6 is on the menu. Not just yet. I like how you played g4 now. There's so many ways to kill black here. He's totally paralyzed. Easy to say that, right? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic. I mean, black's threatening b6, and he'll escape. So I guess the obvious suggestion would be c5. So if c5... Man, I don't know. That looks rough. This seriously looks rough, dude. I don't think that black is going to live much longer. Because f6 is your only move. It doesn't look good. Yeah, he's toasted here. But now g4, even that's probably good. I don't like this check here. Exactly. Check. Damn, what is this, like the dragon? You sure this is enough? I thought you were going to play rook g1 and then sack a rook on h5. If you play this, are you seriously threatening to play rook takes h5? Black has rook d8 though. Then you could play maybe here. See, he keeps doing this annoying stuff though. It's not that easy. Yeah. So rook f1. But he has rook d8. So I see. So in this position on rook d8, you've stopped queen f5. So on queen e4, he has queen g6 instead. Rook takes f7. Jesus Christ. Does that work? It doesn't work, does it? Can't work. It doesn't do anything. Check here. I think we went a little too far. Just a bit outside. Maybe this is actually working. No. Shit. Queen e3 wins. Oh no. I didn't see it. Alright. That's the point. So rook d8, queen e4. Oh my god, what? Rook f5. No, it's just a file. Here, queen h6. Rook f6. It's too much. Yeah, you're winning. So b6 was a logical try. Here, is that a problem? You didn't even take the free rook. Unbelievable. I don't want free rook. Unbelievable. Why you don't want free rook? Here, check. Yes. So what are you going to do? It's not so easy, you know. I say take the free rook. I take the free rook all day long. And you had the cheapo. Damn. So bishop b7 fails to queen takes b7. That's lucky. And you got rook f1 threatened. And black's lost. 2 pawns up and lost. No moves. He has no moves. There's no moves. His best move is probably like g3 or something. g3. Rook f1 and then take. But I don't see how that pawn is going through. Somewhat problematic. Alright, good game. Ibatis finally up. Yeah, that was a good opening for white. Very good, very good. Knight f3, d5, e4. Okay, so the crazy gambit, Joe Pesci. Basically, no one has ever played this except for Joe Pesci and Avarth Khan. The Tennyson Gambit. It's not that bad. It's better than what I played against Arsenal fan the other day. And now, black's best move is like the casual bishop f5 or something, right? Is Joe Pesci still alive? Good question. From Home Alone. Bishop f5, g4. This is like my teammate Martin Prorok would play. E5, this is interesting. Now d3 and Skachkov, that's funny. Here's that guy again. Are you kidding me? It's the same guy, the 2475, who plays all kinds of weird, dubious games. What is he, some, like, another one of those, like, dubious, like, millionaires who pays people to lose games or something? Is that how he's 2475? This is a real player? E takes D? Is it the same game as earlier? So now black has to be very, very quiet, or Elmer Fudd will, like, jump him. There's a funny moment in this game now. You can play knight h6, which would sacrifice the h7 pawn, incidentally. What else? Knight c6, protecting your queen. This is basically a little bit like a Eric Rosen gambit or whatever. Bishop e7, protecting the queen. And black is like, well, it's no problem, knight f6, because if knight f7, king f7, bishop g6 check, you know, you have this. Or even, my favorite, something like h takes, queen takes d8, bishop b4 check, queen d2, takes, and black is up a piece. Just for fun, you know. So, it's like, would you guys believe it if I said that white is winning in this position? And knight f7 doesn't work? That's the funny thing here. White is winning in this position, but white can't play knight f7. You're guessing. That's right, if bishop e5 check, but black gets to make a move, right? You gave white 2 moves in a row in your variation. You did bishop e5, queen d8. It's like double check. I think that's double check. But you're right, okay? Yeah, no, bishop e5 is the answer. And then, yeah, it looks like, okay, what's the big deal? You know, bishop d7, or, yeah, bishop d7. Even, no, really only bishop d7. Or maybe knight d7, you know, also. I've never seen this pattern exactly. Bishop e5 check, bishop d7, bishop c4. And you're just, like, royally screwed on f7. So we found, like, the best possible variation for black is, let me remember now. Queen e7. It's basically like the Traxler variation. Bishop f7 check, king d8, bishop b3, and then king c8. And black lives to play a sort of middle game where it's not totally over, although black's position is very, very bad. White can't really win like directly by force. Yeah, it's pretty funny. So that's the only really good defensive try. Like anything else, like bishop e6 is horrible. This is like really horrible. Queen takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, check, king e8, knight takes. Even if you trap the knight on h8, like black's whole structure is destroyed. And you got a whole rook. It's very bad. So Ubatis is just winning with bishop b5. It's really funny. But no, he didn't see it, so he played castles here, knight c3, and now h6. And the computer says like white's best move is knight e4, which I thought kind of makes sense because you're trading off. You'd be trading off the defender, one of the defenders, or the best defender of the position. But he wanted to avoid exchanges, so he played knight f3, castles, and then I didn't like this move personally. Bishop d2. I don't know. You know, maybe objectively you should play like h3 or something. I don't know. But white doesn't have quite enough compensation. But he has some. But after this, bishop g4. White played h3. And then I expected, I expected you to play g4 here. I actually think that white has a good game. I mean, this is bullshit, man. You can't do this. This is not a real sacrifice. Black has 3 pawns for the piece, though. I think that would be a mistake for black to do that. But this doesn't look that good either. So, and this is kind of what I thought would happen. But Ubatis did something kind of crazy here. He played queen c1. Which would have been better, like, without h3. It would be better to just do this and let him damage the king side and not have played this move. And you'd have, like, less weaknesses around your king side. So this wasn't, like, really properly thought out. H5, queen c1, and then I like to call it the Joseph Henry Blackburn concept. Bishop takes f3, allowing the smashing of our pawn structure to create open lines. And now black has to be, like, careful. Oh, careful? How about development? Apparently it's like, yes, Arsenal fan, how do you know everything? Jesus. He sees everything. Like, he's seen the video already. That's unbelievable. He guesses everything. God damn it. Knight h5. It's unbelievable. This is a move! Exclamation point. But you know what? I think that's a good move. The move of the game isn't that bad. Attacking h3. He plays king g2. And now he plays this. And maybe what he played isn't so bad. But you know what he missed? Yeah, perhaps black's okay. Maybe this, too. Rubinstein style. Black to move. This. Can knight h5 hang on? There's a really nasty shot, like queen g5, knight f4 check. That's a problem. So knight h5 miraculously, like, would have defended, and white would have had to be, like, careful. But that's tough to find. Yeah, no, it's still a game after this. Yeah, rook g1's interesting. A fine tactical eye you have there. Yeah, it's unclear. But taking was a no-go. He takes it. Always take. This is suicide. And black's just busted. Immediately lost. After queen takes h6. There's no way to defend. He tries this, natural. Opening up. I hated that bishop the whole game, by the way. I just want to say, like, I hate bishop d6. On principle. That's like the suckiest square ever. I'd rather have it on e7 than d6. Because it's just stuck there, you know. I mean, put it on c5 or e7, but d6? That's like the worst. So finally it like breathes. And now he had like king h1. But there's the Ivanchuk like bishop g3. Like maybe the amputated octopus, exactly. Maybe the Ivanchuk like bishop g3 would delay mate to like mate in 15 or something. So rook g1 is more accurate. Check this out. Rook g1 would be more accurate because if you play king h1, black will play bishop g3. But if you play rook g1, you can meet bishop g3 with king takes g3. And the idea? We don't clog up the G file, you know? And then, if knight G4, I guess you take with the H pawn and just, like, mate down the H file instead. But Yabatis just did, like, the standard sort of straightforward thing here. Knight takes, bishop takes, and now F5. Check, rook F7, rook G1, knight E5, king F1, check. And that's funny because there's a check here, but it doesn't do anything. And then knight G4. And that was a nice point. C4. And now the guy, like, sacked his queen on D5. And I was disappointed. Like, he took on G5. I mean, D5 here. I would never take on D5. He didn't like the triple pawns. Like, he didn't like the pawn structure, so he took on D5 instead. Dude, come on. And then bishop G3, rook G3, rook G7, queen G7, mate. Good game. Alright, what do we got left? Arsenal fans and Morales. Ars, you want to go first? Because I think it doesn't matter with Morales, because he's gonna, you know, just watch it later. Only Ars. Oh, you are here. You guys want to flip a coin or something? Doesn't matter to me. You can hash it out. Maybe we'll have like a battle. You can have like battle bots. You can play for it. I'll go last then. See, this is... No, you. No, I insist. No. 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 I'm going to open a beer. And you guys, like, beat each other up. Have an argument or something. Alright. 5, 4, 3. I'm going to make the decision. Whatever's in front of me. This is the Ars game. It's already up, so I'm going to do it. Ars fans, I was assuming Arsenal is black here, right? Antonio, thank you. 100 bits. That's my beer. Yeah. But one can never know, because like you playing D4 these days. Knight F3, E6, and then E3. So we play in Benoni Spirit with C5. I mean, I like this. You know, this is against the standard Kali system. I think like Capablanca's setup is best, with a delayed d5. That's how I would play if I played e6. I would... Actually, I have two systems, but I like this better, honestly. I like this better than b6, because if you play b6, you get stuck in like a e3 Queen's Indian a lot of times. So I think c5 is probably better. Statistically, they're basically equivalent. Look at that. Exact mirrors. b6 and c5 are exactly the same. 31, 40, 29. That's a big woman. I'm just a sexist chess streamer, man. Enjoy the beer. Thank you. Well, that's the first time anyone ever like sent me a message to enjoy the beer. That's great. I love this. It's fun streaming chess. So c5, b3, and then well, the big issue really is always like about this whole thing about the knight. You know, what are we going to do with our knight? Is it going to c6 or d7? So ours just went a totally different direction than I would normally go here. I feel like once you see b3, I'll tell you like straight up, this Queen's Indian with b6 and bishop d3 is kind of a little dangerous. Because white plays straight up stuff like the c4, bishop b7, bishop d3. Somehow I feel like if we do c5 and then b3, this is better now. White can't play... With the b3 is a little on the slow side. Basically, white playing b3 takes away some of the sharpest variation. I know this sounds stupid, but I lost a couple of games with black in the e3 Queen's Indians. There's some poison there. If you analyze Richard Pallister's book on d4, Alms plays those lines that Pallister recommended. The e3 Queen's Indian has a little bit of poison, but b3 is a kind of quiet move. So we know now like there's not going to be anything like really sharp. I think we're safe to play b6. So that's like a tactical thing. Knight c6 is totally playable as well, but I like b6 best. d5's fine. Obviously, this is like absolutely standard Tartakover. I just like b6 better. It's like more fluid, you know, and it's not as mainliney as d5. When you define the center with d5, I feel like the Tartakover Queens Indian, whatever those guys call themselves, the Tartakover noobs, you know, they're like more in their mainline book here with d5. Mr. Coffee is a hardcore, Kali Tartakover player. But I feel like anytime you play d5, it's always like more straightforward for them. So bishop e7, this is a quiet move. In general, we want to have the bishop, on the more active square, but there are specific reasons why you might play bishop e7. I'm not an expert at all, but I think and it's difficult to explain why, but if we do bishop e7, maybe it fits in better with the recipe of b6. If you're going to put your bishop on d6, I think you should probably just play like knight c6, bishop d3, and do the main line with like bishop d6, blah blah blah. I remember now. You know what's really crazy? What I just remembered? You guys will never believe me. This is crazy memory that just came back to me. I had a blindfold game against Uber Driver in like 1997 or 1996 or something, where I played white. It just came back to me. I don't know if I ever mentioned that on the stream. I remember only like one game from our like 4-game blindfold match at the Boylston Chess Club in the mid-90s, the mid to late 90s, where we played 4 games that were draws, and the only one I remember was I was white in a Tartakover I think I was white in a Tartakover like this, where he did like queen c7 and tried to play for knight b4 or something. But bishop e7 probably flows better with b6. Here, and now you played knight c6. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move, but I think with bishop e7 we should castle. White will probably castle, and then b6. It's actually very similar to how you would play against the London. If you do bishop e7, you do like bishop b7, and you're probably going to put your knight, not necessarily, but you might put your knight on d7. There's also the outside chance of going there for like a bishop exchange on a6. That probably makes more sense without c5. Okay, so, I mean, this can't be bad, though. I mean, it's just like I would really rather have the bishop on d6. Arsenal. Because we want to fight for e5, and we put bishop d6, and then like queen e7, and we push for e5, or queen c7, like Uber Driver played against me. So I think here instead you should castle, and plan on playing b6. You know, then you can cut across his plans. Like, it doesn't even matter where you put your knight. But, I mean, you can drop a knight. If you play like b6 and bishop b7, when he tries to do his standard attacking plans, you can just drop a knight in on e4, and basically, like, you're going to interfere with his... Your knight will drop in on e4 and just interfere with his attacking on the b1 h7 diagonal, supported by your bishop on b7. I like to talk about this. You know, it's always like, oh, it's a bad bishop, it's a bad bishop. But in like a lot of lines where white will do this, let's say knight e5, you know, this is a very important resource for us. You guys know why this is such an important resource. Yeah. You play this because you want to kick his knight out. You know, in a lot of cases you're free to play like f6, and you can kick his knight out the same way he can kick your knight out of e4 with f6. But I don't know like the exact analysis here. We'll see f3, knight d2, queen d2, and f6, see? And now there ain't no sacrifice on h7. So you're solid and safe. You know, there's no like brutal stonewall attack against your king side with his queen coming down on h5 or whatever. I mean, if white just played passively or something, I think the first priority is to get his knight out of e5. You know, then maybe you could play for you could reverse the colors and play for an attack yourself. But your bishop isn't really designed. I mean, this position isn't really designed to attack. You know, it's a solid setup. So knight c6 here, and then a6. And this is something obscure. I mean, the idea of playing b5 is reasonable. Here. And now you did knight b4, which is like, give a book, get a book. You know, you're going to like gain a tempo, lose a tempo. I'm not sure ultimately if this is profitable or not, you know. It's like a trade-off. I kick you back, but then you're going to kick me back. So what does it really matter in the long run? I know a lot of people would have played a3 by white first, for example. Maybe that's more accurate. I'm not sure. But see, that's where like Uber Driver tried to get me with this sort of dual threat of playing for e5 and pressure down here. But you don't have like any threat to play e5. So you've misplayed the position slightly. Now you give your tempo back. Now f4. And this diagonal looks a little squishy. But I don't reckon, as Arsenal likes to say, that you have anything special. But I mean, I guess you should play queen b6 and try to make him make some sort of concession. That's what you did. Yes. Because you'd like to get him to play c3. Block your bishop, dude. Please. Absolutely. So here, So I guess now we have some interesting questions, you know. Can you take that pawn if like king h1? Can we take this pawn? Okay, I have no idea what's going on here. Like if pawn takes pawn, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes d4. It'd be nice to open that up. I would assume like this is relatively equal. This type of position, let's say. But what should white do? Like I hate this. This looks awful, you know. White really doesn't want to play c3. The other problem is that if you put your knight on c6, you really want the bishop on d6 because you can drop it back. You do the Michael Adams thing where you like drop it back here to e7. That's another plan. You know, bishop d6, knight drops back to e7, then it pops back to f5, and that knight can go into e4. But with bishop on e7 and knight on c6, there's like, yeah, there's nothing you can do now. You know, you can just kind of hang out, and you don't really want to take this, but you got to judge the moment. I don't love this move. He leaves a huge gaping hole on e4. Now, a lot of people do this. Guys, I've got like 20 minutes left. A lot of people do this. They just blindly, like, you know, they think they're playing the white side of the Stonewall Dutch or something. But I mean, this knight is performing a function like controlling e4. I think like this is way too prevalent where people just blindly put their knights like, you know, in each other's way. I mean, what are you going to do? Like just sit there while he plays knight g5 and take on f7 or something? This knight is performing an important job. It's like controlling e4. Maybe white should play king h1 and try to find something tactical. You could also play c4 and lock it up. I don't know. I don't really want to do that. But if takes, can he sack a pawn? I was wondering about crazy stuff like this. Does this work? That looks dangerous. It would open up your bishop on b7. You know, regardless of other stuff, like this seems like a bad idea for white, but maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's you know, not at the end of the world. But I mean, I think he wants to solve his problems without playing c3, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if nothing else, he probably should just take on c6 if he has to. I guess that's better than playing, you know, that's better than playing c3, ultimately. He can open the diagonal under the right circumstances, but alright, queen b6 here, and then, you know, I think we want to play this, but tactics count here. I mean, the g7, this, the long diagonal, I don't know, you know. Can you play knight e4 and allow like him to like take your pawn on g7? I'm not really sure about that. Yeah, it's fine. He can't do this because this is too weak. So, alright. You can actually play knight e4. It looks fine. You played rook c8, which might be okay too. What does he do? I'm surprised he didn't go here. This seems like what most people would do. Some kind of crazy, like bishop h5. They just go all in on your ass. The crazy coffee house attack. You know, rook c8. You know, I don't know, man. Maybe knight e4 is not good enough. I mean, maybe ultimately you need to castle, but it looks okay. I mean, you would actually stop knight g5. He probably has nothing better than like taking, and then playing like other knight to e5. You could just castle at that point. You know, I mean, give up your bishop, but it's a bad bishop anyway. You're probably like only slightly worse at best for him. Or you can take the time to retreat. But I don't know if it's like dangerous or not. Rook c8 is a tad slow. He takes. It probably doesn't really matter which way you recapture. I would keep the queen on this diagonal. And then, yeah, this actually was a nice move, dude. Actually, it does matter. Arsenal made a very good move here. This is subtle, but I mean, rook c7 is a gain. You have the Karpov sort of like lateral defense here. That could be beneficial, and you also enable yourself to like double up on the c file. That's a nice move. The problem is like you're kind of like a move behind. You really should be castled already by now. And the guy goes for it with like f5. Well, I mean, that's a super, super, super committal move for white. And I don't know if he should do it or not. You have this. Probably he's better off not even doing that. I don't know. It's a tricky position. It should be around equal. The engine actually thinks black is better. Interesting. I guess the computer's feeling is that the f4 is kind of a weakening. I was expecting it to be like totally equal. Well, white's even worse before f5, you know, like... Yeah, I think you're okay here. He didn't know what else to do, and I don't blame him. Yeah, I mean, this is really awkward. I just, you know, rook c1, like, white can't even play c4, so what good is it to play rook c1? He's just defending his c2. Second time we've seen that today. That's like a Slav player move. But to be frank, like, what about, I don't know. Yeah, he's afraid of this, of course, because of, like, c4. Bishop f3 is not great. It is hard to come up with a move. Maybe a rook lift. This, unfortunately, might be a problem. But you know what? It might just hold on. You know, you can't take this and defend against bishop d4 at the same time. Maybe this move is not so stupid. But I'm not really sure where we're going. White has some weird ideas, like bishop c3. It's an idea. White doesn't have a lot of choices, really. Maybe knight g4? Is this a thing? Just there's not enough force behind it, you know, I don't think. But this is nice and lame. We're happy to see that. Now, I don't know, you know, if you should play c4 or not. It just doesn't seem like he's really threatening anything, bro. But you need to do something, you know, I guess. That's the thing. What about... I guess this sounds stupid, but like a5, just grabbing more space? I mean... Then on this capture, you can't take with the queen anymore. It's just an idea. There's another possibility that you can take on f5, like Uber Driver and the Sicilian. I don't see any reason to do so, though. He's not threatening anything. It seems like he's just not threatening anything. Yet. Bishop on e2. Yeah, I don't know, you know, about c4. It's just kind of committal. It's definitely not bad, though. It's not bad. It can't be bad. It's just a question of whether it's the best move or not. It's a tad on the committal side. This looks horrible, though. Maybe it's stronger than I thought, you know? Maybe c4 is stronger than I thought. If white has to play that, then he's really in trouble. So what about queen e1 now? This is starting to remind me of that game that we saw with Marina Muzichuk or whatever. Where like she's playing, her opponent is playing like c3. We're getting close to that now. Just keep this f6, you know, under surveillance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could play it as a tactic, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks promising, right? This does look kind of promising, very promising for black. Yeah, I guess c4 is stronger than I thought. Well, I mean, I don't like the way he played it, dude. Like rook c1, there's no way I'm playing that move. There's no way in a million years I'm playing rook c1. I mean, if anything, like rook b1, right? Defend your bishop, bro, so you can play c4. What if he had played rook b1? Now you probably do c4, and if he takes, you take with the d pawn, and you're like long diagonaling. You're definitely not taking with the b pawn and giving him the file here. Well, probably not. You could even do that, but no, rook c1 is terrible. Yeah, c4 is better than I thought. c3, okay, here. But I think you have a lot of options. You could just take. Black is better. You have clear targets now. You're just better here. There's a chance, you know, Kamsky's going to lock the queenside. It's an a6 Slav. We don't want to see like b4, a4, a5 or something where he like locks the whole board. And now he went for knight g4. Well, you provoked him. You provoked him with bishop d6. Maybe this is a bad idea, man. You stirred up a hornet's nest there with that knight on e5. I would just simply take here and pursue your goals on the queenside. You think it's not so bad for white? Maybe is a4. Yeah, it's weird. It's a tough position, very closed. I wouldn't want to play this on the stream. It's hard to make a decision. Okay, knight g4 is a good move. Knight g4, bishop g4. Do you have e5? He has f6. Welcome to f6. So you do the Uber driver, no f6, nice. Bishop takes, and then rook e7. Jesus. Wow, this is impressive, man. You're playing like a master here in this middle game. You got the queenside space. You stopped his threats. You have pressure here, and you've negated any kind of like threats he has whatsoever. His only chance for counterplay was f6, and you took it away. And you just got him bottled up now. So obviously you can play f5 here. But on the other hand, like, you don't have to, so why do it? Yeah, I mean, he needs his queen on h4. I have a weird setting on the machine where I can't do arrows randomly. They have to be in a straight line. h3 is weakening here. This is a really good game. The opening was not perfect, but the middle game well played. We need f5. And it's a really bad French now. You're threatening f4. He's paralyzed. You got him where you want him. Now you played a5. Don't we have like an immediate breakthrough here? Oh, he's defended. Okay. So he's hanging on. You can barrel through probably with like a massive tripling up. I think Arsenal was concerned about g4. So it's like, it's hard to organize the perfect position. You need like queen e7 and then f4. Triple up, get the queen on this diagonal. I mean, like, the perfect position is bishop on b8, something like queen e7, bishop on b8, triple the pieces and play f4. But white might try something crazy like g4. Now, if he plays that in time, he might like make it messy. But I was surprised by a5. That's a little worrying me. Your opponent there was afraid. What about a4? Can he do something crazy here? I guess it just collapses. I'm not sure. a5 is a mistake. It's probably okay. He tries to lock it naturally. And then, I don't know, I would just take. You locked it. So you're all in on the king side. Now he's doing the stone wall. Right. Well, again, like, probably we should, like, just... Actually, bishop c8 makes sense. Okay. Here. Here. No. You wanted to move your queen. I mean, honestly, you should probably just play, like, rook e4. He'll have to move his queen again. I mean, he's going to try to play this. Yep. That was not a bad maneuver. By locking the queen side, though, like, you gave yourself no second avenue. So now you really have only one way to get through. If he manages to, you know, one weakness, lock it down, it's hard to make progress. You can always sack the exchange. Yeah. I mean, I was a little concerned about, like, h5, h4. Locking it up. He can't take on e4, can he? Whoa. What just happened? You have a tactic? Damn. That's nice. So he's still hanging on. Jesus Christ. Right. He has rook f4. Doesn't he have rook f4 here? You have g5? Okay. Rook takes f4, man. Rook takes f4, man. He's still king g7, bro. You gotta admit, like, White's a stubborn defender, but Jesus Christ. He might tire Arsenal out here. This was a nice try, dude. Rook f8. Jesus Christ, I hope this isn't a little kid. We're running out of tricks in the bag. I'm almost ready to offer the guy a draw. This is brutal. Shit, dude. Are you serious? You got bishop f5. It's not gonna win, though. It's not enough to win. He doesn't have to trade bishops, right? If he trades bishops, he's lost. If he doesn't trade bishops, he's not lost. What happened now? Here I lost. Here I lost. Well, you can't lose, man. I mean, the worst you can do is draw. King f6. You got tired out. I mean, let's say takes. King g3. Bishop f5. Bishop d1. Bishop. You overpressed, is what you're saying. Basically, Arsenal's saying he overpressed in this drawn position because he was frustrated. Yeah, it's understandable. Oh shit, your phone went off. What? You got defaulted? The black bag on the table? I think it's a draw. Yeah. It was a draw. So you had pressure the whole way. You were like almost winning. Give the guy some credit for defense, but I can understand getting tired out there. Tough game. I never got a submission from move 11. Alright guys, that's it. We're done. No, we got Morales. We're not done. We're not done! Last game. Quickly, we have 10 minutes. Yeah, it was an interesting, you know, strategic game, which I like. Morales c3, right? No, good. No c5, c3. So Morales here played bishop e3. I mean, it's interesting. Like this is like was a thing for a while, and now I never see it anymore. Right, knight d2, but knight d2 sort of superseded bishop e3. I didn't think Morales played. I don't remember if Morales normally plays. What does he play? Knight d2, knight f3. I don't even remember what you play anymore. I'm used to looking at the position with black. So you played this against me? Dude, that's an interesting statistic. Alright. Wow. You guys want to see a crazy statistic? Sladgie has 145 games here, and no one has played bishop e3 against me. Knight f3, 47. g4, 24. h4, 23. Bishop d3, 17. Knight c3, Jim's probably in there. Or Morales, have you played knight c3 against me? 10. Knight d2, 7. Knight d2, 6. f4, 5. c4, 2. c3, 2. Bishop e2, 1. And someone played bishop f4. The audacity. Yeah, but I mean, I'm playing like primarily Arsenal. I'm playing people who are lower rated than me. I'm playing people I'm teaching mostly on the stream. I'm not playing my rivals so much, players over master strength. So these statistics have no significance in like the grand scheme of things. Bishop e3 is a real move, but it's unbelievable that not one person has played it against me here. What I mean, it's impossible. That's like insane. I can't believe it, actually. I might have had, like, unrated, unsaved games or something, anonymous games. Funny. I would have said that, yeah, I've definitely faced it. Well, it definitely discourages c5. Yeah, but this was very trendy for a while. See, like, look at the database. 2009, 2011, 2009... It's very 2009, right? When Sladgie was playing poker. Knight d2 is more modern. So Queen b6 has the best score. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's kind of artificial, and I don't like grabbing, like, I don't really like grabbing poison pawns. But see, like, because I'm not a real Caro-Kann player, first of all. And secondly, this variation was all the rage when I was playing poker 10 years ago. I just don't really know much about it. Queen c1. Yeah, I mean, I imagine if I play black, I would play e6. And then Morales would play knight d2. We could, like, transpose to something. Doesn't white, like, go here? We'll transpose to one of those things. But Queen b6 is Excel poker. Kasparov, Shirov, 2002. That's early. Kasparov, Shirov, 2002. What? September. Barayev, Smirin Barayev. No, that was August. No, September. Same tournament or something. 2002, December. 2003. So I mean, the first high level game of this was seriously Kasparov, Shirov. So it's like a 2009. I mean 2002. It's like Fritz 10 or Fritz 7 or whatever. C4. I mean C4 is not forced. Yeah, this is like the most crazy opening, complex opening we've had today. I would need like an hour to analyze this opening. But C4 seems to be the sharpest move. I don't know if I've ever like really looked at this. Because I wouldn't play Queen B6 with black. Too risky. So now black plays D takes C4. That's the move with the best score, clearly. So if we look at Kasparov, like, does Shirov seriously play the Caro-Kann? I mean, I realize it was like 2002, but is that normal? Master, I mean, he played the Petrov too. The Caro-Kann? Really? You think of Shirov as like crushing the Caro-Kann with white. Why is he playing it with black against Kasparov? This seems like a weird decision. He obviously expected something else. He was hoping for like a main line or something. Actually, how often did Kasparov play E4 in those days, in like 2002? I guess sometimes. Takes. Okay, so this is with Excel Poker. Yeah, Morales, you know, he does his homework. This makes sense. I challenge you to, like, take this up against Schieberspieler. Do you have any games with Schieberspieler? Excel Poker is talented, but he, you know, he doesn't have the opening repertoire, like the Spieler. Well, Spieler would play E6. You know, I know. Because he's like fundamentally very solid. Yeah, this is a risky way for black to play. So now a new move, bishop e4. Okay, it's interesting. Knight f3. There's only one game. And now black played the engine suggestion of queen c7, which is, well, queen c7 or queen d8. I like your game, though. I mean, white is, like, better. White has more space. You're getting the pawn back. How can you not be better? Unless you have, like, a hang-up with backward pawn, you know. White's got to be better. That's the whole point of the exchange variation. You have more space. You're, like, behind the development for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, black can't develop because he has no space, and you're just, like, better. That's how the whole advanced variation... Did I say exchange variation? The whole advanced variation, that's how it works. The white is slow to come out of the gate, but then the space, and then all of a sudden, like, black's just, like, worse. Yeah, a3 is too much. So there's no need to do that. Like, you just make a normal move. Uh-huh. Yeah, and you're just going to castle simple chess. You're better. And this is a weird situation for black. Like, what is he doing with his bishop? So a3 is a very tempting move, dude. You know, to be honest, I find it hard to criticize. I really don't think a3 is that bad. And this is outrageously materialistic play by black. I'd be honestly tempted to turn into like Petrosian. No, it's too bad. Yeah, it's too bad. So take with the knight. Oh, look, another knight. Wow. Yeah, dude, I mean, a3 is very defensible. I mean, it's hard to say, like, oh, the computer says it's bad. You know, I don't like... Bishop a5? Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, that's a good reason to play queen d8 right there, bro. I mean, I can see... I think, like, here isn't that bad. But queen on c7, bishop a5 is seriously awkward. Interesting, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so takes is reasonable, but I mean this is wow. This is like a super Catalan. You're not playing the Caro-Kann, you're playing the white side of a Catalan. You just didn't fianchetto, but it doesn't matter. You can like fianchetto later with bishop e2 here. It's basically a Catalan, of course. This is massive compensation. You have bishop takes b5, but I guess b2 loses. Maybe here? He can do like here and here. You're seriously just going to take the b5 pawn now. Can he play this? What do you think? You just play f3 and then... Wait, does this work? Does bishop e4 actually work? Yeah, I guess you just take here. Bishop takes g2 and like rook g1, and this is dangerous. Alright. Yeah, it's probably too dangerous to take. I don't know. I mean, who knows? You know, like, this is possible. Bishop takes b5, bishop takes g2, rook g1. I just desized the board. Oops. Just without an engine, but like here, and then here. And if you take here, it's possible that your rook gets, like, you know, black's rook gets digested. But I wouldn't want to, like, trust this for black, you know? Look at black's position, man. That's toast, dude. You are toast here. There's no way in the world that black is okay here. What's up, Mule Skinner? Thank you. You know, unless, like, black can win a whole rook or something. Wow, dude. This is a monster position, my god. D5, double exclam, triple exclam. I have this book from the Mihawks, where they just have a lot of collections of pawn dynamics, pawn breaks. This would be an awesome example, you know, example position of like pawn dynamics. Just crushing. Just intuitively, you know, you knew that white was winning, but you weren't sure how. Now you know. It's called Pawn Dynamics. It's a great collection of positions where the winning ideas are based on pawn moves. Excellent, like, training book. A6, yeah, super slow. I mean, all levels. It's really universal. It's really like a workbook. So A6, A4. Chipping away. Random questions. Do you play the English opening? Yeah, I was just doing a series on the English opening line. Anyway, guys, it's late. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Morales has great Catalan level play here, but I don't know that you're, like, winning. Unfortunately, black's bad bishop is outside the pawn chain. Your best chance is on the dark squares, but your bishop is kind of not in a good position here. I mean, like, on c5 it would be good, or g5, or a3. But on e3 it's like a defender. It's a nice knight, but it's getting traded off? Maybe not. It's a nice knight you've got there. Impressive play. Yeah, I mean, I would never play this kind of position in my life with black. Like, there's no way I'm going anywhere near this with a 10-foot pole. I was saying it was getting traded off. So we got our extra pawn back. Black's passive, but no, like, long-term bad piece. So can black hold? Trades off your knight. You got rook lift. Black's very solid here, though. You got to give him credit. You really got to give him credit. Like, okay, his bishop might get trapped. You have space, but I don't think like this is clearly winning unless white's a computer. I remember seeing this though. Bishop b6. He must have done something really bad. Rook takes a4. Queen takes a4. Can I recommend a move for black here? Damn. He has knight c3. I recommend knight c3. This is seriously like the worst move ever. Your master title is like rescinded. I was desperate. I missed knight c3 and I was gonna suggest f6, but f6 is way better than g5. I think like Steinitz might play f6 seriously. If this wasn't an option, f6 isn't that bad. Like black might be able to hang on after f6. g5 is just really like horrible, horribly weakening. And you're both missing knight c3. You know, I mean, I would take that square away from him, first of all. But, you know, we're both missing knight c3. Yeah, this is crazy. And this is suicide. He leaves himself with no time. Dude, did you see the bishop? Are you serious? Pretty much like any move but knight takes b6. I know that it's unpleasant. Like, you can't find a lot of squares to go to here. I mean, there's not a lot of options for black. I assume this is pretty damn unpleasant. But it might even be, like, you can even defend this, like rook b8 or something. Can black hang on here? Wow. So he was actually okay. Wow. Yeah, this is like something I would do. This is the worst move ever. Giving white a crushing pass pawn. I literally like turned on the game at this point. I was like, whoa. I swear, I finished my game and I checked out your game and this is the position I saw. With like a pawn on b6. I was like, okay. Well, that doesn't look good. Yeah, I saw at this point. It's just over. So I was kind of lucky. Yeah, you guys are in time pressure. But Excel Poker has a tendency to do what I do, which is like he lets himself get down to the increments and then tries to play like blitz, bullet, but you know, you do stuff like knight takes b6 and it's just game over. But thank you guys for watching. I've got to go. Very late. 10 p.m. here, and we got a stream tomorrow, Friday morning. Thanks everyone for joining. Let's do a raid for Tomas, who I know is streaming. Thanks everybody. Mr. Coffee's on vacation this week. Well, he's actually at school, but he's not here. So I usually say thanks, Mr. Coffee. But Mr. Coffee is away in Phoenix, Arizona. Damn, dude. And none of that went in. All that typing for nothing. I can't believe the camera like captures my hands. I have two different keyboards that I use and going back and forth. It's really funny. One is completely different placement of the keys than the other, and so I can't like type anymore because I don't know like which keyboard I'm using. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Good morning in advance. Bye bye. Bye bye.